Am I the asshole for asking someone how much their yacht costs? Gonna try to keep this brief as it honestly doesn't bother me that much. Posting out of curiosity. Last weekend, Father's Day took my dad to the Hamptons. Hung around a marina. As a first-generation immigrant, he was in awe at the awesome-looking yachts. This man came to the US with nothing, and worked his way up. Out of curiosity he asks me, "How much do you think these cost?" I jokingly say, "A lot." He badgers me for a specific number. I decided to wave my hands and ask one of the crew members how much the boat costs. She was very nice. Laughed and put 2 fingers in the air. 2 million. My dad thought that was pretty sick. So just out of fun I decided to ask how much the yacht next to hers cost. It was considerably bigger in size. Now, a crew member from the other bigger yacht poked her head out and says to me, "Excuse me, this is a private marina, please respect the rules." Basically shaming me. It gets kinda quiet now. To break through the awkwardness I yell back, "It's not like I asked to drive the thing." Yeah, that's about it. Is there something I'm missing here? I know it's not polite to ask someone what their net worth is. But I mean, it's a fucking boat. Who gives a shit? She wasn't even the owner, why'd she give me such a hard time? AITA for asking how much the yacht was. Do I just avoid asking people how much they spent on something from now on? Jesus, I feel like Larry David. Edit. I think I'm understanding why people are so pissed here, lol. I was not on the actual dock. There were restaurants there, for crying out loud, LMAO. Please check here. My dad and I were having lunch in the building I drew the arrows at. All we did was walk along up and down the area I marked in blue. It was more of a sidewalk than marina. So you guys are saying this is all private? I circled where the yachts were. Again, to clarify, I was speaking to one of the crew members in the green circle. There was a different boat parked in the red circle, different staff, not as friendly, that basically told me to hush up. Guess it was a bit of an oversight on my part. Forgot that people actually live on those things and probably don't want to be bothered. In my defense though, I really was having a private conversation with another person, not even talking to the person that told me to be quiet. And no, I was not shouting. I was like 6 feet away from the boat I was talking to, just regular speaking voice. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut next time. This is so fucking stupid, LMAO. Nah. If you're gonna ask about other people's money, sometimes you're gonna get told it's none of your business. Nah. Usually crew members are not allowed to discuss this. They sometimes sign agreements not to discuss the yacht owner's personal affairs. Price would be one of them. You could get a crew member in trouble. It is always better to ask the owner, if you see them. You could also look up how much one cost if you know the size, company and model of a yacht. Sometimes names are even registered where the public can see the information and you can look it up that way. Kind of like how they can look up a house address now and see what it sold for and what it is valued at now. Info. So were you in a private marina, as in trespassing? She was very nice. Laughed and put 2 fingers in the air. You realize there's a reason she didn't say it out loud, right? You need to read social cues better. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. She was telling you it's a private marina. It's for people renting spaces. Not for the general public to hang out. People get annoyed when tourists trespass in private marinas. Never mind that you're loudly asking people how much their yachts cost. I think you're missing the point of what she said. She wasn't shaming you for asking about money, she's shaming you for not respecting the rules. Private marinas are private. You're the asshole, not for asking, but for thinking you're entitled to go in private areas. I'm from the Hamptons. You're not supposed to be on the docks unless you own, rent a boat or work there for safety, liability, security reasons. Same with private beach clubs. Just because you want to look doesn't mean you can trespass. You're the asshole. They weren't complaining about you asking the price. They were complaining because you were yelling in a public space. Soft, you're the asshole. It's a bit crass asking things like that. Sounds like you misread the social clues. And yes, there's social clues and rules we as a society put upon ourselves everywhere. I think you might be a bit of an AH in general, just reading between the lines here. You start off trying to sound aloof and all like, yeah, I'm not even bothered, but... So you clearly were bothered or you wouldn't post. I get the impression you aren't a big fan of being criticized or told to mind your own business, and you're after validation that the staff member was wrong. Take it on the chin and move on. You're the asshole. You were not criticized, shamed. Get a grip. For asking how much the boat cost, but for using a private marina as a day out and annoying the people who pay for it. You're the asshole. It's how you asked and where you asked, not what you asked, that got you shushed. Soft, you're the asshole. It's not something you go up and ask a stranger. I have the curiosity too, but instead of asking strangers how much money they spent, I Google. TBH, you could have just apologized politely instead of yelling back at them. You just proved that they're right to ask you to respect the rules. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. You were wandering around acting like some obnoxious tourist. Look it up on the internet. You're the asshole. Most marinas have an only owners and authorized invited people on finger docks rule. More and more are enforcing it with gates that lock. People like you are why. These docks are common spaces for the people who rent slips. It's not a public space. Think of it as the equivalent of the hallways in an apartment building. Just like in an apartment hallway that you don't belong in, if you're polite and quiet, you'll probably be ignored unless you run into a member of staff. But you weren't quiet or polite. You're the asshole. It was a private marina. You shouldn't have even been there. Show a little respect. Nobody owes nothing to your father, just BC he's an immigrant. LMAO dude, please reread your last paragraph. Get over yourself. If you can't stand the mild heat of that mild interaction and mild embarrassment you felt, don't ask questions. I see no problem with people wondering about the price of luxury items they can't afford, but the owners might find it an invasion of privacy and security. The people you were asking were very likely not the owners, but employees who could have gotten in trouble for answering nosy questions just to be polite. Depends on exactly what the woman meant when she told you off. If it was because it's impolite to ask about the cost of obviously expensive things, fuck it, not the asshole. If it was for talking way louder than you should have been, sorry OP, that's a you're the asshole in way more places than a private marina. I have to hang out at marinas for my job, and I cannot fathom why you want to hang around a marina without owning or visiting a boat. You aren't allowed in the amenities like the pool, as you aren't an invited guest. The bathrooms usually have a lock code. And the people are rather snooty. Imagine going to a private country club and sitting on the 18th green for shits and giggles. It's just really not appropriate. Or fun. To break through the awkwardness, I yell back, it's not like I asked to drive the thing. Dude. You rock. Not the asshole. I just wanted to check how many orcas we need. Some asshole came out on my dock at my marina and stole the covers off of a couple of instruments on my boat. It cost me over $100 to replace them. Now my boat is hardly fancy, most new pickup trucks cost more, but I'd be perfectly happy if they would put a locked gate on the dock to keep the non-paying people away. It's the 2020s, you don't need to bother someone to get an idea about what a boat costs. Use Google or go to. Not the asshole. Orcas don't care how much those fancy boats cost, they'll sink them all.